Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations. So I'll be showing one example here, and then it will be solved through different methods, which I will show you in a while. So let's put a title to this. This is quadratic equations, and in particular solving quadratic equations. Okay, so in solving quadratic equations, there are three methods that we can use. The first one is by factoring. The second is by completing the square. And then the third one is by using what we call the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's take a look at one example. Suppose I want to solve the equation x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Now, some general note: whenever you want to solve a quadratic equation, you have to make sure that the other side is equal to 0. The 0 can be on the left side or it can be on the right side, but to stick with one way so that you can easily remember it, make sure that the right side rather, is 0. Sometimes you have to manipulate the equation in such a way that the right side will be equal to 0. Okay, so first I'll show you how to solve this by factoring. So it's very important that you know how to factor quadratic expressions. In this case, that is the left side of this equation. So when you factor a trinomial, so you'll end up with two binomial factors. Sometimes you need to check if you have a common factor for the three terms. In this case, we don't have any common factor for x squared, 5x, and 6. So we can go directly to factoring by finding the two binomial factors. So if you recall how to factor a trinomial, the first terms of the factors will be based on x squared, the first term of the trinomial, and we only have x and x as factors of x squared. Factors meaning what you multiply to give you the expression. So x times x is equal to x squared. And then the last terms, or the second terms of the binomials, will depend on the third term of the trinomial, and that is 6. So here is the guiding principle on how to find the numbers. First, they must be the factors of 6, which can be 1 and 6, or can be 3 and 2. So how do we know if it is the pair 1, 6, and 3 and 2? Now you have to look at, or you have to consider the middle term of the expression. The middle term will tell you the right combination because it should be the sum of the two factors. Okay? Now, or the sum or the difference of the two factors. Now, looking at 1 and 6, the sum is 7, the difference is 5. Okay? And then for 3 and 2, the sum is 5 and the difference is 1. Although both of them have a sum of 5, we have to consider that the only time that the first pair will get a 5 is that either this is positive and this is negative, or the other way around. Okay? Unfortunately, the factors cannot be of opposite signs because the third term is a positive number. It's either a negative and negative, or a positive and a positive. Okay? But just to make my explanation short, so coming from x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0, so when we factor it into two binomial factors, so I can select 3 and 2. Okay? The product of 3 and 2 is 6. The sum of 3 and 2 is 5. So we have x plus 3 and x plus 2, and then this is equal to 0. Okay. Now, one way to check if you have the correct factors is to expand the factors that you have by multiplying them. Now, if you will multiply, some people will use the FOIL method in multiplying expressions, you should end up with x squared plus 5x plus 6. And if I do that, it will go back to x squared plus 5x plus 6. I'm not going to show that in this video anymore because I want to focus on solving this equation. Okay, you can try it on your own. Expand by multiplying x plus 3 and x plus 2, and it should end with x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so moving on. You have x plus 3 and you have x plus 2 equal to 0. Now, there is a rule on numbers or in algebra that when you multiply any two values, if they ended up with 0, say number times a number equal to 0, then we can say that maybe A is 0 or B is 0 or both of them are 0. Okay, now that idea is used in quadratic equations. If you are multiplying x plus 3 and x plus 2 and they will end up as 0, then that means either x plus 3 is 0 or x plus 2 is equal to 0, which will lead us to x equals negative 3. Solve this equation, and then x plus 2, x equals negative 2. Okay, so these values of x are what we call the roots, okay, of the equation, or roots of the quadratic equation. They are the solutions to your quadratic equation. Okay, so that's how you solve it using the method of factoring. See, as I have mentioned earlier, there are three ways on how to solve the quadratic equation. Okay, and then I have shown you the first way, and that was factoring. Okay, now I'll try to reserve, because I'm trying to saving time here, I'll skip completing the square because this will take me about 10 minutes to explain. Okay, because this is not easy to explain it, or I cannot do this in just 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll reserve that, and then I'll try to make another video. Okay, because I want to make this this video be finished in 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll skip and then I'll go to quadratic formula. Okay, so for the quadratic formula, the quadratic formula gives you the value of x, and it's given by negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. Where are these a, b, and c coming from? Note that the general form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a is the first number, b is the second number, or rather a is the number or the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is a number, a constant. Okay, c is equal to whatever number that we have. So in my case, or in this case, we are solving x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. And then it means my a is 1. You don't see it, but it's there. And then my b is 5 and my c is 6. Putting that in the quadratic formula, x means, okay, so that's, if you refer to the quadratic formula, it's negative of the b, negative of the 5, plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 6, everything divided by 2 times a, which is 1. And then keep on solving. This is negative 5 plus or minus 25 minus 24 divided by 2. That's 2 times 1, which is equal to negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 24 is 1. And then this will be divided by 2. Negative 5 plus minus the square root of 1 which is 1, and then divided by 2. Then you split the 2. See, there's a plus and minus here. So plus 1 over 2, and then x is also equal to negative 5, this time with the minus 1 divided by 2. Then solving each, so you have negative 4 over 2 in the first, negative 6 over 2 in the second, and there you go, you have negative 2 and negative 3. And these are the roots. See, these are your x values. These are the roots of the quadratic equation, which is consistent to what we found through the factoring method. Okay, so again, in this video, I have shown you how to solve quadratic equations using factoring and the quadratic formula. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.